Hello and welcome to episode 87, entitled Responsibility. My name is Gary Vierheller and I'll be your host for what we call the Substantive Living Podcast. Today we'll look at what we call life's lessons. And I hope this will provide you with some insight, maybe even some inspiration to life's challenges. You always have a choice. Let me say that again. You always have a choice. You are not obligated to do anything. You always have a choice. An obligation becomes a responsibility only if you accept it. And that's a very important thing. So, if you have a responsibility, you need to carefully think about the task or the job or the duty and determine, is this correct? Is this the right thing to do? Does this truly need to be done? And then you accept that responsibility. Now, accepting the responsibility is not surrender. Accepting the responsibility is determining its values, its drawbacks, and then deciding, I will do this. That's an important concept. Too many people feel they're obligated. They have a responsibility that otherwise they're going to be punished or they're going to be forced to do something, they're going to be coerced. That's an obligation that is forced on someone. So what you want to do, you want to be in charge and have the choice. If you fail to take action on a responsibility, you may suffer consequences, immediate or in the future, but no one is forcing you to accept that responsibility. That's the key element in life. You're responsible for your life. You are responsible for your health. You are responsible for your body. You're responsible to do exercise. You're responsible for proper food intake. You're responsible for sleep. You're responsible for this mechanism of a body. You're responsible for your intellectual health, your continued education, your learning of life, of yourself, and of others. You're responsible for your relationships and how you deal with other people. You're responsible for the work or profession you choose. Too often I hear people say, I really dislike, or even worse, I hate my job. Change. Life is way too short to endure a job that you hate. You have a choice. I remember one company I worked with, this ridiculous manager. I met a client. The client said, Gary, we'd like to work with you. I said, okay. He said, but we'd like to do it on this particular day. And I said, well, I've got another client on that day. Let me see what I can do. I'm sure I can change over. And the client I had talked to, who wanted me on that particular day, was head of an international corporation, human resources, which means there would have been more training for the company I belonged to. So I went to the guy in charge of training. I said, this man wants me. Right now I'm scheduled for this person. So I have a choice. I think it would be better for me to go with the person who wants me on the day. Anybody else can take care of this other person. And he said, you don't have a choice. I said, what did you say? He said, you don't have a choice. I said, I always have a choice. And he said, well, you have the choice of first refusal. And I said, fine, I refuse both. And I went immediately to the president, told him what happened, because this was costing the company money and investment and potential clients in the future. You always have a choice. You always have a choice. So if you dislike your job, change it. That's your responsibility. Your responsibility is to create an environment where you can be the most productive, the most innovative, the most enjoyable work environment, where you're creative, where you can bring out your best. That's your responsibility. If you want to be at your best, you have to treat yourself the best. You have to be at your best to give your best. So you have to take care of yourself physically and intellectually. And here's a secret. Incorporate things you love into your life. I've always loved being independent. I'm my own boss. I have my own company. I've always loved helping people. I'm an executive coach. I'm a speechwriter. I'm a communications coach. I've always enjoyed working out. I run on a daily basis. I ride my bicycle. I love riding my bicycle. I incorporate these things. I dearly, dearly love my wife. We're with each other and we share life as much as possible. We team teach sometimes. Incorporate what you love into your life. Make your life better, because that's your responsibility. So, take time to be responsible. Take time to treat yourself the best so that you can give your best. Be responsible for your life and then help others. You're not obligated to do anything. Take the responsibility. Accept the responsibility. And be productive. Good luck. Thank you for joining us today for the Substance of Living podcast. If you'd be kind enough to consider subscribing, you can contact us through Spotify or Apple Podcasts or connect on Twitter. Join us again next time for what I hope will help you navigate life.